Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and my Austrian Grand Prix review. It wasn't a great race. If Baku was one of the best we've seen in a long time, I'm afraid Austria was the other end of the scale and was pretty dire apart from the first lap and the final couple of laps. But we'll get into that in just a moment. We will start, as we always do, with a look at the race result. It was Valtteri Bottas who took his second career win, just 0.6 of a second ahead of Sebastian Vettel, who went on, of course, to extend his championship lead. Daniel Ricciardo is fifth podium in a row, on a heck of a roll, that boy, in third place. Lewis Hamilton coming back from 8th to 4th. Double points for Force India. Haas, Romain Grosjean, look at that, 6th place, fantastic for him. Double points for Williams, of course, as well. They started right down the back of the field and fought back, avoiding first corner chaos. Again, we'll get into that in just a moment. Decent result for Jolyon Palmer as well, 11th place, finishing ahead of his teammate, and not that far off the points, to be fair to him as well. Second half of the field, Stoffel Van Dorn finished 12th, the only McLaren finisher. Nico Hülkenberg 13th, Pascal Wehrlein and Marcus Ericsson for Sauber 14th and 15th respectively. And Daniel Kvyat, who had a very turbulent race, ended up finishing 16th. DNFs for Carlos Sainz, Kevin Magnussen, Fernando Alonso and Max Verstappen again. Oh, bless him. Fastest lap went to Lewis Hamilton, a 107.411, and driver of the day, bizarrely, was Valtteri Bottas. So as we saw there, Valtteri Bottas finished just 0.6 of a second ahead of Sebastian Vettel. There were question marks over Bottas' start. Was it a jump start? What do you guys think? When you look at the footage, it does look very, very close. I think there's some GIFs on social media starting to go up now. The lights are still on as he starts to move. However, the reaction time, I believe, was 0.2 seconds, which, first things first, is absolutely incredible. I wish I could do that at traffic lights. I'd get home so much quicker on a night. But yeah, I can't see, really. He didn't get a penalty in the race. He's probably not going to get any kind of retrospective action. Let's not start all that rubbish again. Let's leave him alone. He totally deserves that race win. Fantastic reactions, perfect start. And he managed to lead home pretty comfortably for most of the race, you'd have to say. It was only the last couple of laps when Vettel started to come alive. Traffic, the blistering on the tyres as well, something we heard a lot about in the race was the blistering of the tyres. And Vettel managed to sort of fight towards the last couple of laps, or on the last couple of laps, and Valtteri just stay cool as he did in Russia. It was very Russia-esque actually in the end at the Grand Prix, but Vettel couldn't overtake and Valtteri just about hung on, which is awesome for him. Second career win, and that totally pulls him right into the championship fight, which is fantastic. We want as many drivers as possible involved in that, particularly Valtteri Bottas, especially when you think that so many people, including myself, to be fair, said he would just be the Mercedes number 2. He would not be allowed to challenge for the title. Wouldn't it be brilliant if he actually ends up winning it above Hamilton and Vettel, given all the trouble we've had in the last couple of weeks with them two? Probably the happiest driver after Valtteri Bottas is Sebastian Vettel, not just because he finished second, but because his title rival, his closest title rival, Lewis Hamilton, only managed 4th. Vettel extends his championship lead to a whopping 20 points, but let's not forget, at one point it was at 25 points. So, and we've seen as well, Lewis Hamilton be 40-odd points behind Nico Rosberg a couple of years ago, managed to claw that back. So let's not forget that 20 points is nothing at this stage of the season. It's such a long season. It's only the last maybe 5 or 6 races that kind of lead makes you think he's got the title. It does appear all the luck's going his way, to be fair. But yeah, a bit of an odd race for him. Really poor on the ultra softs, no real pace. Bottas comfortable. Then the super softs on the Ferrari again seem to come to life. He's looking good for the title, but like I say, it is not over yet. Daniel Ricciardo, 5th consecutive podium. Fantastic for him. Another shoey on the podium with Martin Brundle. Martin Brundle, who said in commentary he didn't want to get involved in that and then kind of egged him on a little bit. So yeah, weird. But sweaty foot champagne. I don't really think I fancy that, but he's a great character, as I said last time out. He's a really, really good guy. And 5 podiums in a row. He's on a roll for a team that were really, really struggling early season. It really is good to see Red Bull coming good. As I say, Lewis Hamilton coming back from 8th to 4th. I'll just have a little bit on him a little bit later on. Kimi Räikkönen, if there was any doubt in what role he was going to play at Ferrari this season, that was absolutely stamped out today. He finished 5th and was clearly used to hold up the Mercedes boys as much as possible to help out Sebastian Vettel. But really the main action in the race was on the first lap in the first corner when Daniel Kvyat, the torpedo from Russia, dived up the inside of Fernando Alonso after some pretty poor starts off the line from a number of drivers, including Max Verstappen. Down the inside of Alonso, gets it all wrong, locks up far too late, hits Alonso, who rebounds into Verstappen. Kvyat continues on, and inevitably Fernando Alonso and Max Verstappen retire at the end of that lap. Very frustrating for Max. I'll have a little word on him in just a moment. Fernando again retired. Not any issues with Honda today. Just saw Stoffel Vandoorne finish 12th. So obviously the car is starting to get, and maybe Honda finding some reliability on a proper engine track. It's a proper fast-paced track. But Daniel Kvyat, he did get a drive-through penalty, but he's serious. You know, it's probably his last season in the sport. You think he'd want to go out on a high, but he seems determined to go out on a little bit of a low. But disappointing for him. 3 laps down in the end as well. So he just, all over the place today. Not great. A poor day for Toro Rosso all around, to be fair. Carlos Sainz DNF'd. And Danny Kvyat as good as DNF'd already 3 laps down. Like I say, he needs to just cool it and hopefully go out on a high. But I just think, needs to sort himself out. Max Verstappen, it's another retirement. It's 5 in 7. Oh, his bad luck continues. That army of orange fans, that sea of orange fans in the grandstand at the Red Bull Ring, and he crashes out in turn 1. It's so devastating for him because none of this, I can't think of any of these incidents that have been really his fault at all. He's just, I feel so sorry for him. He's way behind his teammate now in the standings. He's had all the bad luck, and, although they're saying it will turn around, Christian Horner said live on Sky Sports, I believe, that he thought it would turn around. Bad luck tends to. Absolutely, he will get the luck eventually, but what's Max going to do? He needs to seriously turn this season around. One thing we know he isn't doing is leaving Red Bull. Jos Verstappen, his dad, has confirmed he's staying for 2018, which is fantastic. I think we all, deep down inside, expected that to happen. Certainly in the short term, the guy just needs some luck. That's all he needs. And when that luck comes, there is no doubt and no denying that he will be up there competing with Ricciardo, if not even quicker than him, because we can all see what that kid can do. He's got a very bright future. We know that. I know it's an obvious statement, guys, but brilliant driver. Lewis Hamilton then comes back from 8th to 4th. Not his best comeback, but pretty solid given the problems he was having. He was struggling with the blistering on his tyres. A lot of drivers really struggling. I don't know if it was the heat or what, but the track just seemed to be tearing their tyres. The worst blisters I've seen for a long time in Formula One. I can remember Spain back in 1997, showing my age, was probably some of the worst blisters I'd ever seen back in the tyre war days as well. They just looked so bad. They looked like cuts on the tyres almost. They were, unbelievable. And he really struggled with those. He went on to Ultrasofts for the second stint, expected to do 39 laps on them comfortably. Had to nurse them for quite a while, but did come strong at the end and just missed out on a podium. He did actually get a pass done on Daniel Ricciardo, but Daniel Ricciardo late on the brakes as ever down into what I think is turn 4. They've renamed them all, so I don't know, but turn 4 managed to get it back and managed to finish 3rd with Lewis Hamilton 4th, 20 points adrift. Like I said, it's not over yet. There's a long way to go in this season, but I think he's a guy that could do with a bit of look at him. It looked totally miserable in post-race interviews, and I think he has actually had a glimpse before I started this as well at the Sky Sports News app. I think he has said something along the lines of, please understand why I'm a little bit miserable because it's all going a little bit wrong for me at the moment. So I think we can accept that drivers are disappointed when they're not performing well or when things aren't going for them. So you can understand why he's a bit downhide at the minute, a bit downbeat, but it'll come good. Same with Max Verstappen. The luck will change. It always does. And he will have a pretty strong finish to the season for sure. And you would imagine Silverstone, he'll probably win that race anyway. So it'll start to turn around from there. What kind of reception is Vettel going to get? That's going to be interesting next week. Really gutted I can't go. It's all I've gone on about to everyone that knows me. And I'm going to stop talking about it because I really want to be there. But can't be this year, unfortunately. I will be there for 2018. But he'll get such a reception there. And that is... Was it Nigel Mansell that said that that's worth 2, 3, 4, 5 tenths a lap just with the support? So, and that's the difference between them. It's going to be very, very close, but I think Hamilton will win and turn that around from there. As I've already said, I'm going to round this up because, to be honest, I think Baku, I struggled to keep the video under 20 minutes. In fact, couldn't keep it under 20 minutes. This one, I'm trying to stretch out to 10 minutes because it was a pretty dull race. Aside from the first corner crash and the overtakes on the first lap, nothing really happened. The last 2 laps were pretty tense. But that's based on what the rest of the race was. Hamilton was challenging Ricciardo. Like I say, got the move done down the outside, but Ricciardo fought back and held on to it. Vettel nearly got Bottas another lap, and I think he would have won the Grand Prix. But again, just like in Russia, Bottas stayed calm. Vettel couldn't do it. I think it's down to the circuit layout, if I'm being honest. It's a very quick circuit, not many corners, so overtaking is tough. I know they've got the long straights into very, very hard braking zones, but I just think the pace of it and the lack of corners makes it difficult for overtaking. And of course, the tyre blistering as well as a 2017 aero are also going to factor in that as well. Let's just hope that Silverstone is a little bit more Baku-esque and we get some drama and excitement at the British Grand Prix. We'll just have a little look quickly at the Drivers' Championship before we move on. As we say, it's Sebastian Vettel, 20 points clear of Lewis Hamilton now. Valtteri Bottas on 136 points. He is right in that title fight. Don't rule out Daniel Ricciardo. If Renault pull the finger out the backside and do decide to upgrade their engine, yeah, right, or Red Bull manage to find something, he could pull himself into it if there's all this unpredictability at the moment and all these random results, if you like. Maybe, just maybe, you could do it. Kimi Räikkönen, Ferrari number 2, I think clearly, and the points show that Sergio Perez has moved ahead of Max Verstappen. Wow, 5 points clear of the Dutchman now. He seriously needs to turn it around. Esteban Ocon remains 8th, Carlos Sainz 9th, and Felipe Massa in 10th. So the Constructors' Championship, it is Mercedes. 287 have extended their lead this weekend over Ferrari, but the two are pretty much disappearing now. Red Bull 102 points adrift. Quick math there. That was very impressive. Not really. But anyway, Force India remain 4th and have strengthened their grip on that this weekend. Williams 5th, should be able to hold off Toro Rosso, although the Italians do look pretty solid. Haas will be happy now, 29 points. They're 11 clear of Renault. Sauber and McLaren didn't score, and it stays like that. But that is it, guys, because there really isn't a lot more to say. Pretty dull race. The next video will be later in the week. I'm off work for this week, so we'll be uploading a couple of extra videos just because I want to kind of get some content on the channel. Thank you so much for the response to my last couple of videos as well. Really, really surprised by how well they went down. All the good comments and all the negatives, because I like the feedback, so thank you for that. So like I say, next videos will be up next week, obviously, and of course it's the British Grand Prix next weekend, so we'll be back with a review and maybe a video around that. Gutted I can't go, said it again, but you know, there you go. That's just how I'm going to be this week. I'm going to be pretty miserable about it all, but as ever, guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been Sean, this has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.